SSS, the brand new game mode that is dropping in Arknights on the 27th of December. Some of you may have heard about it, and the things that you hear about it aren't very good, while others, this is the first time that you've ever heard of it. So why are people seemingly not looking forward to some big update that's coming into Arknights? So, before we understand that, let's talk about what this game mode is. SSS stands for Stationary Security Clearance. It's a game mode that updates new stages or missions every 15 days. The rewards for clearing those stages will be new module materials. These module materials will allow you to upgrade any of your operator's modules from level 1 all the way to level 3, improving their talents and also giving them a new trait. Some of the modules can look pretty insane, like for example, Mostima is able to now globally slow every single enemy on the map with a module at level 3. Phantom can have his clone with a lower redeployment time. Link can summon an additional smaller dragon onto the map if you give her a level 3 module. So that's what makes this game mode a little important to play, but I'll explain why it's a little later on. So I'm not going to explain how to play the game mode. I'll do that maybe in a separate video, since by the time you watch this video, you can go into the game itself and try it out. Or can you? So in this video, let's talk about the 5 reasons why people don't seem to like SSS, with the first one being barrier to entry. So, in order to experience this, unlike Annihilation where you clear a certain stage in chapter 1 or 2, you get access to Annihilation and you can farm the randoms. For SSS, in order to access the game mode, you need an operator to have a module attached. In order for that to happen, you must already have an E2 operator. So only when you have one operator with a module will you be able to play SSS. If you don't, then you have absolutely no access to it. So it's not really that much of an issue per se, because if you really want to try the game mode yourself, what you can do is you build a 4-star that you already know has a module, upgrade it to E2 level 40, and then give it a module. The module cost for 4 stars is pretty darn cheap compared to a 6-star. So this is if you really want to gain access to that game mode. So small reason for people to not like it, but it's still a reason anyways. Then the second and probably most impactful reason that people don't like this game mode is that if you've cleared a stage, you might want to replay the stage so that you can farm the materials. Well, you can't overly farm it because every 15 days there's a limit as to the number of the tier 2 and the tier 3 module materials. But some of you may need to replay it. And when you do that, there's no auto-deploy. Yes, you heard me right. It's not like Annihilation. There is absolutely no auto-deploy. So if let's say you cleared a stage already with whatever operators you have, you want to replay it again, you've got to redo all the way from the start. Which makes it pretty annoying, kind of like a chore. And that's the number one thing that I don't like about SSS as well. When you play the first few times, it might look very interesting, like, oh, this is a very fun game mode. It's something that you've never experienced in Arknights. But after a while, when it becomes like a need in order to get the materials, that gets a little bit frustrating, which is something I really don't like. And then we go to the third reason that tops up the problem, which is the difficulty of the stages. Now, most players in CN, when they played this, they have all stated that they have problems to pass even stage 5 or stage 6 of this particular game mode. You don't have to clear all the stages. If you want to get the first clear reward for each stage, then you have to do that. But if you just want to farm out the maximum limit of every 15 days, you could maybe say fail at stage 5, and then afterwards replay all the way to stage 1. It will still take the same amount of time as if you were to go to stage 1 to stage 8, but then you're just doing 2 rounds of stage 1 to maybe 4. But still, some people might want the first clear rewards. They want to get that stage 6, 7, and 8 amount of materials that is being given. And if they're unable to clear it, it's really frustrating. The way that I'm going to precaution you guys is that if you really cannot clear, understand that you're not alone. A lot of people are going to struggle in this particular game mode because the bosses, the enemies that you're going to see are probably the most jacked you've ever witnessed in Arknights. Because the way this game mode works is that you need to keep buffing your operators so that they can match with the stats of the enemies. And if you don't do that, then you're going to struggle. And then we move on to a reason that is also similar to why some people don't like IS2, which is RNG. Yeah, this game mode has some RNG involved. You will start off by choosing a squad that you can take into the map, but you won't get the full squad straight away. You might be picking all your strongest ops, but then after a while you realize that maybe the randomizer doesn't give you the ops that you want. And then on top of that, you still need to do the stacking motion. And if let's say you draw an operator and you don't get the one that you want, then it's going to frustrate you in the gameplay. So I think RNG makes the game mode honestly fun. I've never really thought RNG is a bad thing, but I think it's a bad thing if it's because of the RNG that you cannot clear maybe say the later stages and then you can't get the module materials you want. It's not like IS. If you fail, it's fine. You know, you just get less candles and then you still have the time in the world to farm the whole battle pass. But this one, it's a bit different, right? Because you still need to actually clear the later stages if you want to get the rewards. And then it's because of the RNG that we also have another reason, which is guides. You probably won't see much guides for this particular game mode because how do you teach someone to clear a game mode if the entire game mode is built out of RNG? It's kind of like why you don't see guides for IS as well, because the squad that you bring into the stage is different from what everybody else is bringing. So if you're a loyal guide follower, I'm gonna say I wish you all the best in your journey of Arknights. And then the final biggest issue, kind of like the lack of auto-deploy problem, is the cost of the modules. So I do understand there are quite a lot of players who look at their depot right now and you're like, oh, I have 20, 30 module data blocks. It's not really going to be an issue, you know. There's plenty to build all the operators I want. Now, I feel that this is a big problem for those of you with player accounts more than level 100. And the reason for that is that the cost of the modules to upgrade them all the way to level 3 is insanely high. For a 4-star, to upgrade it to level 2, it's one module data block. To upgrade it to level 3, it's another module data block. But for the 6 stars, that's where it gets really painful. When it goes to level 2 or level 3, each of these levels will take 4 module data blocks. And there are a lot of 6 stars in the game right now who have modules. The biggest issue that you're probably going to have is that you cannot upgrade each of your current operators with modules all the way to level 3. You actually need to ration your materials and decide who you feel is more important for the time being. Basically, to put, there is a time gate element involved where you cannot upgrade everyone to their fullest potential. And this could be very annoying to some players. So I've basically explained every single reason that people probably wouldn't like this game mode. So then the question at hand is, should you be worried about what's to come? Now let me put forth that those of you who are under player account level 90 or 100, I don't think you need to panic as much about this game mode. The reason for that is that your account isn't very built yet. You won't have that many E2 operators, so you won't even have many people with modules to begin with. The time gate element of the module materials not being enough will only affect greatly for those old-time players. Those of you who have maybe like 30, 56 stars that are at E2, this kind of thing can hurt you because you cannot build everybody all at once. But then for those of you below that, you probably don't have a problem. It's going to feel like a natural progression for you. So that's the first part. Then for those of you in the second group that I'm talking about, the higher level players like myself, are we supposed to be scared? Well, I'm going to say that depends on what you prioritize. For me, I don't really care about the fact that I need to build everybody up. I'm going to choose who I feel I want to build. And the thing is, it depends on your playstyle as well. If you're a very meta player, you might care about the modules that looks a bit more meta. If you have an Exia module, a Link module, those kind of things might be your concern when it comes to who to level up. But then if you're someone who plays for, say, the waifu characters, you play for the characters that you really like for their visuals, then just build level 3 for those characters. So you do need to make an element of choice here because you really can't build everybody all at the same time. You're going to have to work hard in order to get the materials that you need. Now, if you're still unaware, you could already buy extra module data blocks from the Red Voucher store, which has 4 every month. You can also buy it from the Yellow Search shop, but even that also has a limit, which is 4 per month. Now, some of you might then be asking, why did they just cap it? You know, it even hurts Leviathan if you think about it, because they want to maybe say build up their account, give everybody level 3 modules. So what's Hypergryph doing to time gate these modules onto the veteran players? I feel that the reason why Hypergryph is trying to do something like this is because they want to maintain the longevity of the game. If everything can be built at once with the use of money, then it's going to hurt the game in a way where people can just be like, oh, I've already completed it with the power of my cash, like my thousands of dollars. I've already built every single unit, so what's the point of playing? So I think that's what they're going for, that there's a limit to the number of materials people can have at once, so that we don't have the kind of speedrunners who move ahead of everybody else. But yeah, it really is a give and take thing, whether it affects you or you're not going to care about it. Like for me, I don't really care. Like I think it's fine that there's this time gate element. those of you who are like high-end players, sweaty players, you want to get that max risk contingency contract, or you want to do some insane clears, yeah, I think this kind of time gate will affect you, because you'll probably get frustrated when, oh shoot, I need a suzerain module 3 and I have absolutely no materials. I gotta wait another 15 days in order to get them. That sort of thing can be very frustrating. Then there is also the question where, if the game mode is already so annoying, is this how it's gonna be for the next few months? One thing that I don't really understand here is why Hypergryph instantly released this new game mode as a permanent feature without testing it. It's not like IS. IS first appeared with KOB's Fungi and Mist, which was supposed to be a test bit to see whether this was going to be a good game mode. And then that's why we have Crimson Solitaire, and then later on the Mizuki team as well. But for this one, they immediately threw it in without testing whether it was going to be a game mode that people enjoy. So it turns out that in the next few months, we will see improvements to this game mode, with things like the enemies becoming easier, the mechanics of the game becoming a little easier as well, and then the number of floors, the stages that I was talking about, it will go from 8 reducing to 6. So from what I heard for my friends who play the CN servers, they stated that the game mode is a lot easier than what it was before, but the biggest problem is it's still a chore. You know, there's no auto-deploy, you still gotta play it every single time when the 15 days refresh is up. So that's what we're gonna have to bear with if we wanna get these module stuff. We're gonna try to psych ourselves to like enjoy this game mode, I suppose. Like, I don't think it's bad. I think it could be fun, just that I don't like the feeling that we need to play it, you know. Just to note as well, do you need to play this game mode? I mean, if you don't care about the modules, you don't. You know, the modules are not a must. They're not gonna be like the thing that differentiates whether you clear a boss stage or you don't. If you see the way Arknights has been, you could have already cleared all of the stages with E1 only operators and one single E2 borrowed 6-star. It's always been that way in Arknights. If you want to so-called make your game easier, then I don't think the modules is gonna make like a huge change. It's literally just minor-ish changes that affects, like I said, the high end of players. So that's pretty much what I would put to SSS. In any case, the game was already dropped, so let me know your thoughts as to how you found it. And I hope you've enjoyed this discussion-like of a video. See you guys in more of my videos. Bye bye.